Because the apple cider vinegar, Scott, because the apple cider vinegar.
That's the first now.
Yeah.
So because the apple cider
So you have to
vinegar-
understand redox is a very wide field. So anything that's action by electron transfer, that's a redox reaction.
So when
So when you have a wound and you
That's
put
what these
hydrogen
do as well,
peroxide
isn't
on it.
Because they're releasing electrons.
So a really simple one, a simple redox reaction is when you're in the sun and your skin turns red. It's a redox reaction.
Right.
When you have a wound and you
Like
put
this
hydrogen
thing
peroxide,
Can you see that? I burnt it on the
yeah, redox reaction.
on the air fryer,
Number 3.
and it keeps on going yucky. I keep putting redox on it, renew on it.
So vinegar, because of its pH, is a redox reaction. So that's why redox is such a wide field.
Yes.
You're talking about the transfer of electrons, but what's unique to ASEA is the molecules are so small they're absorbed. And that's why it's different.
Right.
Super different. But vinegars are redox.
So where does it happen where it switches on the genes that are, and
So there's genetic pathways, right?
yep,
And genetic pathways are signaled by electrons.
yep.
And you measure that
Oh.
by the transcription, which is the expression of protein.
Yep.
So the amount of protein that you can measure at the DNA level, that's called gene transcription. You measure it by measuring the amount of protein. That's how you know you signal that pathway.
Okay. And that's what you were talking about with all the dots. You know, they sort of light it up, so that's switching on genes
Right,
that
that's
happen
right.
all around the body.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, and so to get into your cell, sometimes you have a targeted response, right? So it's like a lock and key. Your cell won't open unless it has the right combination.
Yeah.
ASEA redox doesn't need that.
Yeah.
It's gonna enter the cell because it's so small, and the cell membrane can't stop it.
Yeah.
And if that cell doesn't need signal, it just moves on to the next one.
Right.
And that's what cascading is.
Right. So then you've got the cell membrane. So if you've, say, got blocked vitamin D receptors or something, you can't uptake it, whereas this cleans it all up anyway.
That's right.
So eventually everything absorbs better.
And remember, because it's electron transfer, it's just looking where it can transfer. Because electrons want to get rest. They don't want to move. And what we're trying to do is get them to move.
Okay.
That's what's so unique about it.
Cool.
There's literally energy inside the bottle. And we measure that energy.
That redox
So
potential.
redox potential is an electrical measurement.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And what measurement are you aiming for?
we're trying to get between 700 and 800 on the plus side of oxidation.
Okay.
There's a maximum to signal the cells.
Right.
So that's what we measure. So we're going to measure parts per million, salinity, but salinity is important too, because we try to match the salinity of your tears.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why you can spray it in your eyes.
Wow.
But the salinity level is adjusted because when we make ASEA, we use the maximum amount of salt because salt conducts electricity, and then we dilute it. And when we dilute it, that's what stabilizes the molecules. So it's highly reactive until we dilute it. Once it's diluted and we adjust the pH, it's very stable.
And what sort of salt do you use?
Yeah.
Like is it Celtic salt or Himalayan
No.
salt or?
It has to be what's called a USP grade, which means it's got to be at least 99.8% pure sodium chloride.
Okay.
Because if it's Himalayan salt or
There's lots of other stuff in
there's
there.
too many other
Yeah,
minerals.
okay.
Yeah, and those minerals would react with the
I'm
electrolysis.
going to invite Scott over here in a minute so I can repeat it all.
He's fine.
That's how we got it recorded here.
Yeah.
Oh, are you recording
Well, it's
it?
very loud, but I checked on the video.
Yes, because I was like, I can't, I'm dying to hear it. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is
You know, that's the other thing is we can set up Zoom calls
Yeah.
with our science team. We did that quite a bit with different groups in Australia. And you can speak as freely as you want to because we say, hey, don't record the call. Ask your questions and we'll give you direct answers.
Okay. So I could do an actual recorded one for a podcast,
Yeah.
but then
if
stop-
you want
then
the
stop
off the
it and
record,
then- yeah,
if you want
okay.
the off the record, then we shut off the recorders.
Awesome.
And we just say no pictures, no recording. We'll talk to you.
Okay.
What you want.
Yeah, because I've got a friend